Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to Keeping Fish Simple. So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to tell when your guppy's going to give birth. So this is a topic I covered like a bit over a year ago, and that video got a lot of views and you guys seemed to really enjoy it and like the video. So I just went and rewatched it. Now I thought that it definitely needed an update. So today we're going to be talking about it. I'm going to try and slow down a bit and make this as consumable and easy for you guys to understand, and I'm going to pretty much give you all the knowledge I have on guppy pregnancy and how to tell when a guppy's going to give birth, because I've kept guppies for about 7 years now, on and off. Mostly on, I'd say about 90% of the time I've been keeping fish, I've had guppies, and I know a lot about when they're going to give birth. And today I'm going to give you pretty much all the things that I know about guppy pregnancy and going to pretty much tell you how to tell when they're going to give birth, like by the day. So make sure you stay around to the end of the video for the algorithm, and also please consider liking this video because it really does help it out. And without any further ado, let's get started. Now guppies have to be one of the easiest fish to breed in the entire aquarium hobby. Without a doubt, they are so easy to breed because they are a live bearer. So what a live bearer is, it's a fish that gives birth to live young. Unlike most fish that lay eggs and things like that, guppies actually give birth to live babies. So they can give birth to about 5 to 50 fry, as we call them, they're babies, and they breed about every 22 days. So the chances are, if you've got a male and a female in your aquarium, the female's pretty much always going to be pregnant. They just breed like nuts. So it's really not a question of whether your females are going to be pregnant. If you've got a fish tank with males and females, chances are the females are going to be pregnant all the time. So the question is just when. I can understand why people want to know when their guppy's going to give birth, because sometimes people want to separate them to make sure the females and males don't eat the babies and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the gravid spot. So the gravid spot is the little dark patch underneath the female's abdomen. It's a little tiny like square kind of shaped thing. It's a very, very dark color, and the first thing you're going to notice about a female when she's pregnant is this gravid spot will become a lot darker and it's going to start to become a lot bigger. So what's going to happen is this gravid spot is pretty much where the eggs are stored, and what's going to happen is the eggs are going to sit in here and develop and then turn into fry. You can notice when a female's pregnant because this spot will become a lot bigger and it'll also become a lot darker. Now the next thing you're going to notice is the females are going to become a lot fatter. So what's going to happen is, because the females are keeping all these fry inside of them, they're going to just start to expand. They're going to become really, really big and they're going to look really fat. Now it's important to notice that there's a difference between having a really healthy fat female and having a really unhealthy fat female. So sometimes people mistake their females for being pregnant when they actually have an issue called dropsy. Now dropsy isn't something that's good. I've covered that in a lot of other videos. So if you guys want to know more about dropsy, you can watch my video on why guppies die, and that'll completely cover everything you need to know about guppy sickness and all that kind of stuff. But females, when they're pregnant, are going to become a lot fatter and a lot more plump, and they're going to get really, really big. Now as they become really, really big, you're going to start to notice a bunch of little things with the female. So the female's going to start to go and find little spots inside of the aquarium when she's really getting close to giving birth. She's going to become really, really big. She's going to go and start to isolate herself and try and find a quiet spot in the aquarium. So she'll probably do this about 24 hours before she starts to give birth. She'll probably start to go and find lots of little like corners in the aquarium and go in plants and all that kind of stuff. You're going to notice that's going to start to happen. But another thing, and I don't really notice this as much with younger females, but definitely older females that have bigger batches of fry, that if you look at that gravid spot that I was talking about before, you might start to see little tiny eyeballs. If you can see little tiny eyeballs in this gravid spot, she is really, really close to giving birth. So perhaps the most important part and the best piece of information to give you guys in this video is going to be this. So I can't exactly tell you guys when your guppy's going to give birth because that's just crazy. It's kind of like a scenario when I can tell you it's almost midnight. I can't really tell you when it's going to be exactly midnight. It's just a scenario like that. So the thing you want to look for is a squared off guppy. So what's going to happen to her is you're going to look at the female, and she's going to have, normally when she's not ready to give birth, she's going to be a lot more rounder. She can be fat, but she's not going to be squared off like I'm just about to show you. So this can be something that's really hard to wrap your head around. I remember when I was much younger and I was learning about all this stuff myself and watching other YouTube videos, it took me a long time to kind of understand this. It's going to be something you're not going to fully get until you actually see it happen. So what's going to happen is, a couple hours before the female gives birth, she's going to become squared off. So what that means is the front of the abdomen is going to develop like almost a corner, and the back of her gravid spot is also going to develop a corner, and she's going to look like a square, so this kind of shape. And that is how you tell when they're about to give birth. So once you start to see that, if you see that and you want to separate your guppy, you can put them into a breeder box and they should give birth within the next day or so. That's the most important thing. That's like the piece of advice that's going to get you the furthest. So the other tips are just indicators before that happens. So that's like the final thing that's going to happen. She's going to become squared off and then she's going to be ready to give birth. So look out for all of those things if you're trying to time when your guppy's going to give birth. You can also track the date. Obviously it takes about 22 days for them to give birth from being pregnant. So if you introduce a virgin guppy into your aquarium, just put a timer on for 22 days on your phone, and and then at the 22-day mark move her to a separate tank, and then she can give birth. But that's obviously not going to be a guarantee. Don't move your female early because it'll just stress her out. You want to keep her in a breeding box for 5 days. You want to just keep her in there for as little amount of time as possible and then bring her back into the main tank. So those were my pieces of advice. I hope you guys learned something today. I hope you guys are now able to tell when your guppy's going to give birth, and thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.